report which actually surfaced on social media alleging that the Finnish government is planning to sue the Nigerian government under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed TINUBU.
So, guys, is Finland suing Simon Ekpa? There is this speculation that is going around that Finland government is suing Nigeria government, but we don't really know yet. We'll leave you guys to watch the video, but before I proceed, do it to subscribe, turn on your bell notification icon so that whenever a new content like this is posted, you'll be the first person to get notified. Thank you so much for all you do. So, guys, let's take a look at the next video.
Report which actually surfaced on social media alleging that the Finnish government is planning to sue the Nigerian government under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed TINUBU has disclosed, however, that it is not true. Barely 48 hours after the purported situation emerged, whereby the declaration of the United States of BIAFRA by certain individuals in Finland, a southeastern Nigerian man has publicly renounced his Nigerian citizenship. He disclosed that it was one of the important reasons for continuing with the IPOB agenda and declaring of the Biafran state, which was declared in Finland. However, the report stipulated that the Finland government intends to accuse, or rather alleging that President Bola Ahmed TINUBU is the one responsible for the arrest of Simon Ekpa has been blocked by the quarters of the presidency, as well as all those involved in the declaration of Biafra. The report also stipulated further that while Simon Ekpa is going through with his situation in Finland, the Nigerian government is basically monitoring the situation and hoping that possibly an extradition effect will be implemented so that a continuous trial of Simon Ekpa will continue back here. However, the Nigerian government and the Finnish government actually has no extradition treaty, and while Simon Ekpa will actually remain in the Finland custody up until May 2025, the report which actually stipulated that Finland government will definitely be suing President Bola Ahmed TINUBU has turned out to not be true, exponentially disclosing further that the Finland government is going about its activity with its investigation with Simon Ekpa. I'm trying to connect with Barry Nzako because we actually have some issues. I need him to help me expatiate further on. One of them is concerning the tax reform bill, and there have been quite a lot of back and forth in several quarters. A breakdown completely of the tax reform bill, which obviously needs a better clarification and education or proper orientation to a couple of Nigerians who may not understand it. Governor Zulum has actually threatened that that particular bill needs to be looked into adequately. Barrister Fred, thank you for joining me eventually. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Barrister Fred Nzako, welcome and happy new month to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Barrister Fred, there's been quite a lot of back and forth concerning the tax reform bill. A couple of people say that the tax reform bill may only favor Lagos State, Rivers State, and that will not actually benefit a couple of other states. The Northerners, for example, or some of the Northerners are actually disputing and saying this reform would not go. We know actually one of the persons who has opposed it is Senator Ndumi. We also have one of the professors, Yusuf, saying that the reason why a lot of Nigerians may not want to trust this tax reform bill is because they do not trust the administration of President Bola Ahmed TINUBU. Barrister Fred Nzako, as an expert in economic analysis, what's your take about the tax reform bill? The critics are criticizing the effect of the tax reform bill to favor some states and disfavor some states. Is it true? I'd like your expert opinion on that.
Anybody who criticizes the tax reform bill on the basis that it is skewed in favor of some states and skewed against some states, and anybody who is claiming that only Rivers and Lagos State will benefit from the reform, and anybody who is saying that it will not favor the North, such a person needs to go and look at the bill and not follow the tide of sentiment and the emotions, not based on any tangible evidence or statistics. The tax reform bill is a holistic bill that is there to be of the benefit of all Nigerians. Be to the benefit of all Nigerians. And that is why anybody who has taken time to look at the bill.
Barrister Fred, okay.
It is very unfortunate that so many people do not want to read. They don't want to even intellectually look at the issues, but to follow the bandwagon of criticism. And I can tell you that that does not take us anywhere. And the mistrust between the North and South is not healthy for the economic development of Nigeria. The bill is a reformation bill.
Barrister Fred, are you there? Barrister Fred and Zakor, can you hear me? Barrister Fred?
I hear you very clearly.
Please continue. You went off. I couldn't hear you again. Continue, please.
Okay, no. It's from your own end. So, as I was saying, the bill is a reformation of the outdated Nigerian tax laws, which has left a lot of loopholes that is being exploited by people who want to cause discomfort to others. And that is why you see businesses and enterprises and companies complaining about multiple taxation. Anytime we talk about the brain of manufacturing or the brain or the challenges faced by industry in Nigeria, number one is multiple taxation. And it is because of the archaic nature of our tax laws. And that is what the government is looking at. Meanwhile, it is a result of almost 1 year of research and interrogation of the existing laws by a presidential committee set up by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, led by Mr. Taiwo Oyedele. And that is where you now see these four bills. Number one is Nigerian tax laws, Nigerian tax development establishment laws. The other one is Nigerian Revenue Services Establishment Bill, and the Joint Tax Board Services Bill, meant to re-establish the basic things that will help not only the common man, but also help to use fiscal policy and taxation to engineer industrial revolution in Nigeria.
All right, but Barrister Fred, because I want us to actually discuss other issues. The fear, actually, by a lot of this critics of this bill is they hear tax. If you recall, during the president's campaign, he said, we will actually reduce the purchasing power and widen the tax net. So whenever anyone hears tax, there's this palpitation as to what exactly is going on. We haven't even coped. We've not been able to acclimatize ourselves with the subsidy removal, and then you're implementing one tax or the other. Now, let me also put it to you that any transaction you make now, 50 naira will be deducted from December 1, which is yesterday, officially today. Any transaction you do, no matter the amount of money, 50 naira, that is a tax that will come out from the person's pockets, the person's account. So do you think that it's understandable when these policies come up that there is a rebellious attitude or disposition of Nigerians towards it because they don't trust what the administration intends to do? They feel it's about to stifle them further. What's your take on that?
The major problem is that Nigerians don't like to pay tax. That is the reality. Yes, world over, human beings naturally don't like to pay tax, and that is why they are compelled to pay tax, or they are given incentives if they pay. It's either you are served from reward or you are served from punishment for failure to pay tax. All over the world, it's not in Nigeria. The institutions are not strong enough to bring so many people into the tax net. And that's what government is trying to do, is to easy for people who pay tax to continue to pay without getting their pockets torn, and to also bring and encourage others to pay tax. There are so many incentives that are inbuilt in that tax reform. For example, if you are earning below 800,000 naira per year, you don't pay tax. If you're earning below minimum wage in Nigeria, you don't pay tax. If you're a company, a small business enterprise, that your turnover is less than 50 million in a year, you don't pay tax. If you are a large spender, that in a month as an individual you spend 25 million or more, or as a company you spend 100 million or more, you are described as a large spender, and you are going to contribute about 2% towards the education fund of Nigeria, unlike 3.75% that you used to contribute before. The adjustment is also in the direction of the VAT, value added tax, which is a consumption tax. And it is proposed that the federal government will no longer take 15% of VAT. Initially, federal government was taking 15%, states were taking 50%, and the local government were taking 35%. But today, the proposal is that the federal government will take only 10%, these various states will take 55%, and local government will still continue to take 35%. And there are so many other incentives. There is going to be an establishment of an ombudsman, like a tax complaints commission.
Yes.
Where if you are not treated well by tax authorities, you can approach the commission for redress and for restitution. Government will also establish a fund where when you are going to get your refund from your payment of tax, there will be money readily to be refunded to you, as is done all over the world. So there are so many inbuilt mechanisms that will be of benefit for all Nigerians, both private people and companies and the establishment. If you are an investor in gas sector, you are giving some tax holidays and tax incentives. Those are there. The only one that is contentious, which the North is holding on to, is the value-added tax. And they are not kicking against the percentage, because as we speak, the VAT in Nigeria is 7.5%. But there is a shift, a paradigm shift in allocation or the sharing of the VAT.
But Barrister Frank Nzako, we're running out of time. I would like us to further this conversation. You're going to break this down during matters. I'm going to call you during matters, because we need a proper explanation on how this tax reform bill is, what the benefit is all about, and what the long-term projection of that tax reform is going to be like. Because a couple of people feel that, you know, the administration is running the country like he was running Lagos State when he was a governor. All of that, you're going to give us details.
In conclusion, because of time, let everybody know that the tax reform bill is not against the people, and we should support it and make sure that it works, because there are so many inbuilt mechanisms that will be in the best interest of all Nigerians.
All right, Barrister Fred, let's look at, I don't know if you watched on social media, I think last week, suppose that Biafran state declaration, 40 states were mentioned. IPOB has actually distanced themselves. In fact, there were quite a lot of words that were used. Ima Powerful says it is idiocy exhibited by a group of nincompoops, describing it as a scam intended to undermine the legitimate Biafran struggle. He also went ahead to say that that is not what late Dim Odumegojuku actually holds sway, that it is illegitimate. IPOP also accused the organizers of being infiltrators and provocateurs who work to destabilize the Southeast region and distract from the group's peaceful advocacy for self-determination. He called it a shambolic declaration, and that responsible media organizations should not give it any form of credence or legitimacy. What's your take on it?
I cannot describe it better than those who know. Those who know have described it as shambolic, and I have no other word than what they have said. And for me, on the side of law, I feel it is an extension of illegitimacy and an extension of radicality and irresponsibility, because you do not go to another country to begin to declare the independence of your own country in a different and sovereign environment. If you want to declare your own independence, then you declare it in the land where you intend to govern. So I see all that as a human being exercising their freedom of expression and their freedom of association, and nothing more than that.
Oh, you don't see it as anything, because today is December 2, and this is the supposed official Biafran Declaration Day. And this convention has been on for almost a week, since last week. A lot of Nigerians tripped to Finland to be part of that declaration. And a lot of states that were mentioned or called as part of those who are part of the Biafran United States of Biafra or something, a couple of the persons residing in those regions are distancing themselves of being IPOB members. They're saying they're not part of that, specifically those from Edo, those from, you know, other states that are not within the confines of the official five. You're having a conversation with them. They say they don't want to be identified with your struggle. They don't want to be identified as, you know, the Biafrans. They're Edos or Esako or whatever it is that they want to be identified as. Why are you forcefully implementing or infusing them?
It is sweet. The freedom of democracy is in the freedom to do what pleases you within the confines of the law. Those who you said have left Nigeria to go to Finland, they have their own style of vacation. As far as I'm concerned, they decided to go on vacation in Finland. And those who gathered from all over the world, they decided to congregate, make merry, beat the drum, fly around some colors and some flags, and then go back to their various abodes, having established the fact that they went on vacation and they enjoyed themselves in Finland. It is at best, and that of course, the Finnish government will not have any issue with them because it will, a lot of money, foreign exchange will come into their country. It's part of tourist attraction. That's at best what it is, and nothing more than that.
Barrister Fred Nzakwa, thank you so much for taking your time and giving us, a breakdown of some of these issues that were read out in the world news at 12. I sincerely do appreciate your input. I would actually implore you to join me on matters later this afternoon for us to expatiate further on the tax reform bill situation.
Well, thanks for having me. If there is chance available to me, I will join you.
All right, thank you, Barrister Fred.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, there's going to be a town hall meeting today on the tax reform bill precisely at 7 p.m. I think they want to give a proper explanation on how the tax reform bill will benefit all regions of the Federation of Nigeria, not specific regions as alleged by some political elites or some group of persons.